Turn of the year, there were only 8 teams still eyeing it.
Hughes is charging down, and Hughes has got a real chance for a hat-trick here. He's got past the goalkeeper, and he's got his hat-trick.
And it looks as though Leeds are going to come off back. Jack's got another one. It came from nowhere.
Matthew, Townsend, against the post. Can Dixon get there first? He has!
Pearson and Shirton, the two centre-backs are both forward for the kick. Played into the far post, cut back neatly as well, and the turn, and it's got in!
Sheffield Wednesday, Chelsea, Leeds and Manchester United, the very first Rumbelows Cup semi-finalists had announced themselves. It was to be the old Unique Cup, the old stadium, even the finalist medals were to be struck to the original design. All Rumbelows needed to know now was who would be collecting them.
Sharp chasing this one. Sterling getting the header. Sharp! It's there for Manchester United! The mistake by Mel Sterling was punished so effectively by the young number 11.
It's 30 years old. This is its story from the 60s to the 90s. The competition was the brainchild of Alan Hardacre, for 20 years the brains behind the Football League. His idea was to break the Football Association's 90-year hold over knockout competition. A fresh challenge for his member clubs, a new source of entertainment for fans. The League Cup final would become the People's Final. The first of his people to contest it were Rotherham United and Aston Villa in 1961. But 5 of the country's principal league clubs turned down invitations to take part in the inaugural tournament, and there were further notable abstentions before the competition found its feet. Indeed, that very first final could only be accommodated at the start of the following season. It was a 2-legged affair, won for Aston Villa by Peter McParland.
A number of the top teams didn't play in it, and it was something new on this. I think it helped then. We didn't play much midweek football, other than replays of the Cup, FA Cup, but it meant then that we had an extra tournament to play in, and it meant you didn't train so much.
McParland, an Irish international, had been the central figure in an FA Cup final, scoring twice and flattening Manchester United keeper Ray Wood at Wembley in 1957. 4 years later, he helped Aston Villa overcome a 2-goal first-leg deficit to beat Rotherham in extra time.
I got the winner, I'm pleased to say. And if you haven't got on tape, I can tell you that I beat 6 men and backheeled it into the net. But no, it was a ball that dropped in the 6-yard box and I hammered it into the back of the net.
The following year, Norwich City of Division 2 hammered Rochdale, the only 4th Division side ever to reach a League Cup final. Barely 30,000 fans watched the 2 matches. No fewer than 10 clubs had given the competition a miss. But it was a hit at East Anglia all right, as the Canaries took off with 3 first-leg goals and 1 at home in the second. Birmingham City's one and only success in the competition was gained with a 3-1 victory over neighbours Aston Villa in 1963. 2 goals from Welsh international Ken Leake at St Andrews enabled the Brummie Blues to ease through a goalless return at Villa Park, en route to the only major trophy in their history. Leicester City were finalists in each of the next 2 seasons, Gordon Banks keeping out his future club Stoke in '64, then losing out to Chelsea, for whom Terry Venables scored a cup final penalty in '65. Bobby Moore and Martin Peters were amongst the West Ham goal scorers in the year they immortalised with England, 1966. But having lost 2-1 at Upton Park, West Bromwich Albion cut loose in the return at the Hawthorns to become the one and only League Cup winners to turn round a first-leg deficit. This was the last of the home and away finals. Albion won it with goals from John Kay, Tony Brown, Graham Williams and Clive Clark. As fate would have it, Clark was to score 2 more for West Brom in the following year's final, but by then the League Cup had undergone a facelift. Wembley Stadium was the setting for the 1967 final. West Brom were hot favourites to retain the trophy against Queen's Park Rangers of Division 3. But under manager Alex Stock, they were heading for Division 1. The 3rd Division title race was over long before the end of the season. Such was the pace that QPR set. But for much of that historic afternoon at Wembley, it was they who were trying to catch up with West Brom.
This is good football.
Rangers come out to try and play somebody offside. And they fail and they're wrong with the count. So Clark with him, and Clark is onside and Clark committing two. Allen to take the free kick for the Rangers. 11 Albion men back in their own defence. And it's a goal! Scored by Morgan. Jean to number 10, nice. Oh, it's a goal! A great goal! Rodney Marsh has scored! Oh, what a goal! Now it's Hunt. Ludges and Hunt. Lazarus, it's a goal! Rangers are in the lead!
Wembley's first League Cup legend had been written by Queen's Park Rangers, with Rodney Marsh in the starring role.
When I was at Queen's Park Rangers, we had a tremendous win in the League Cup final at Wembley, when we beat West Brom 3-2 after being 2-0 down at half-time, and they were a first division team, and Queen's Park Rangers were in the third division, and that was a brilliant, brilliant game from them.
Further encouraged by the offer of a place in Europe to any First Division winner, the leading lights of English football were showing more and more interest in their fledgling competition. In the year of their first European triumph, Leeds United won the Cup with a disputed Terry Cooper goal against Arsenal.
Should that goal have been allowed? Watch it again from another angle as we stop the film at the vital moment in dispute.
As Arsenal keeper Jim Fennell will testify, the 1968 final was played for real. The League Cup was coming of age, starting to sort the men out from the boys. It certainly encountered one or two growing pains that day. Leeds were tired of being football's bridesmaids. They were ready to fight for their first trophy under Don Revie. 4 more followed in the next 4 years. But Arsenal were back to try again 12 months later against third division Swindon Town. Captain Frank McClintock received a match-day telegram from Revie at Leeds. It read, "Be first up the stairs this time." McClintock was, but only because the losing captain is first up on League Cup final day. Another Don Rogers, saw to that.
Don Rogers. Beating one and another. And the roar is going with him.
Everybody was saying that Arsenal were a better team than us and we're going to win. But I don't think there's one person on our team thought that. Because we'd beaten some good teams along the way and we were playing really well. So we fully expected to win.
Breaking nicely for Swindon to Smith. To the far post. Noble is there. And Wilson lost the ball. And my goodness, Scott was nearly there to bang it home. Rogers running inside. And Rogers is away. Now here's a free chance for him. Good work by Wilson. Noble following up. And my goodness, that Arsenal defence was caught wide open then. And Wilson atoning for that earlier mistake. And now Rogers bringing it out of defence for Swindon. Lovely play. And there to take the return. Good play by Rogers. Oh, a terrible mix-up. Noble. Simpson. Smart. And goal! What a terrible mistake by Arsenal. Graham. Now Gould off in support. Can Gould get to it now? It's a goal by Gould! And my goodness, is he not pleased with life? Bobby Gould! And they are really happy. He's crying. Bobby Gould is crying. Heath trying to dummy past McNabb and does so. There's a chance for match point. Oh, against the post. What a let-off again for Arsenal. And it's a brave man who put his money on a winner of this game. It's still so very even and so very, very close. Very nearly through. Rogers! A goal by Rogers! And you're now for Arsenal. And smart away for Swindon. Rogers is streaking ahead and he's onside. Beautiful play! That is that!
When you get clean through like that, I think the first thing you have to figure out in your mind is what you're going to do. Whether you're going to take it past them, or you're going to shoot, or you're going to chip. And if you don't make your mind up, then you've got no chance. a great memory would be the third goal going in the back of the net and turning around and saying they can't beat us now.
And there is this incredible scoreline. Arsenal 1, Swindon Town 3. Swindon have won the Football League Cup for 1969.
The three-handled trophy would never again fall into third division hands, but there were more tales of the unexpected to come in the 70s, including the greatest day in the history of Stoke City. Stoke were the odd men out as the new decade heralded a new era for the League Cup. The names that were being engraved on it were becoming ever more familiar. 5 clubs with genuine trophy-winning traditions dominated the 70s, each winning the competition twice. Stoke City were the interlopers. And yet they very nearly didn't make it to Wembley. Their semi-final with West Ham in '72 was probably the best in League Cup history. 3 games couldn't separate them. It took 2 famous penalties to do that.
It's now Hurst, he will not look. And now it's Hurst against Banks. And Banks has saved it miraculously.
If the world's top keeper, Gordon Banks, was the star of the second match at Upton Park, the world's top defender, Bobby Moore, almost upstaged him in the 4th as a goalkeeper. He put on the gloves when West Ham's #1, Bobby Ferguson, was injured in the decider at Old Trafford.
And there's the ball given away to Ritchie. And that's a penalty. Bernard against Bobby Moore. It must be 100 to 1 against. And he saved it! And there's the rebound. Bonds. He's still going. And he's found space. And it's deflected in! Bonds wins it. West is waiting in the middle. And it's there by Brooking. Conroy for Eastham. And now Dobing. He's found the net. Come out to Conroy.
In a history stretching back over 100 years, Stoke had never been to Wembley and never won a trophy. Manager Tony Waddington changed all that. Stoke now seems somehow fated to go on and beat Chelsea. Waddington's masterstroke was calling George Eastham out of a football retirement from South Africa. Eastham was in his 36th year. It turned out to be a vintage one.
Peter Dobing then with the throw for Stoke City. Smith is right up at the near post for Stoke. And Osgood had come back with him, and it was the fist of Bonetti. Turned in again, and now Greenough looking for it, and Conroy! Terry Conroy! The little chip there again towards Webb, and Osgood, and Webb won't get a shot in, will he? Osgood on the ground, and he's done it, Osgood! While he was on the ground, he's got the equaliser. The first goal Osgood's ever scored at Wembley, and it puts Chelsea right back in the game at 1-1 in the last seconds of the first half. Red shirts are waiting to pounce now. Conroy going past Webb. A delicate chip there, a deep one towards Ritchie, nodded down again, and a good save! And Eastham! George Eastham! The old man has done it! And if that happens to be the winner, that really is a storybook come true.
Peter Dobing was getting in the way there. I told him to get the hell out of it. Stuck it over him, and Peter had died and I put it over Peter.
And that is going back, that cup, to the Potteries.
Stoke City, the club that had given football Matthews and Franklin, had taken something back at last. Tottenham Hotspur, meanwhile, couldn't keep their hands out of football's treasure chest. Double winners in 1961, the season the League Cup came into being, they became the first club to complete a League Cup double, winning in 71 and 73. Their first victims were Aston Villa, bidding to extend the third division's love affair with the competition and courting success for much of the final.
And Knowles somehow keeping that ball in play and almost putting it there, in fact putting it in the path of Lockhead, and now Hamilton. And Hamilton with a shot! Oh, just fractionally over that Spurs crossbar. Hamilton, and this time Rioch through. Stopped beautifully though by Beale. Superb defence by Beale. My goodness, and Perryman then putting it away. Perryman, oh, he put that straight for Rioch. And now can Rioch, oh, beautiful play by Rioch.
Oh, bad luck, Rioch! Beale. Chivers looking for it with his head. Gilsey, this must be a chance for Spurs. As Neighbour goes in. Chivers! There it is, Martin Chivers! Spurs are ahead, and they really don't deserve to be. Now they are stopping and looking, and Spurs are attacking it much quicker as Chivers now. Good control by Chivers. And he's done it again, Martin Chivers! Oh, what a goal by Chivers!
Chivers owed his starring role to Bill Nicholson, the godfather of the modern Spurs era. He'd kept faith with his centre-forward through a year-long injury crisis. It was an injury to Tottenham's John Pratt that ironically ushered the hero of 1973 onto centre stage. Ralph Coates had been cast as a bit player. His expensive move from Burnley had not been a success, but he paid a bob or two back against Norwich City that day.
Coates hoping to blast it in, and Coates has done it! Ralph Coates!
The only goal of the 1973 final. In the space of a dozen years, Tottenham Hotspur had won 5 cup finals at Wembley. But it was the end of the glory days at White Hart Lane. For now.